It was a cold, foggy morning at Heathrow Airport. Detective Arthur Blake sat in a small cafe, sipping his black coffee. He was waiting for his flight to Paris, but his sharp eyes were scanning the bustling crowd. Blake was a tall, lean man with a sharp nose and a trench coat that had seen better days. He was known for solving the most puzzling cases, and even on vacation, he couldn't help but observe people. Suddenly, a loud scream echoed through the terminal. Blake's head snapped toward the sound. A woman in a bright red coat was running toward the security desk, her face pale with fear. "My necklace, it's gone," she cried. Blake stood up, his detective instincts kicking in. He approached the woman, who was now surrounded by airport staff. "Excuse me, madam," Blake said, flashing his badge. "I'm Detective Blake. Can you tell me what happened?" The woman, Mrs. Evelyn Hart, explained that she had been waiting for her flight when she realized her diamond necklace was missing. It was a family heirloom, worth millions. She had last seen it in the restroom, where she had taken it off to wash her hands. Blake nodded. "Show me the restroom." The restroom was crowded, but Blake's sharp eyes noticed something unusual. A small piece of torn fabric was caught on the edge of the sink. He picked it up and examined it. It was from a blue scarf. "Did you see anyone wearing a blue scarf?" Blake asked Mrs. Hart. She thought for a moment. "Yes, a woman in a blue scarf bumped into me when I was leaving the restroom." Blake's mind raced. He knew the thief had to be nearby. He quickly reviewed the security footage with the airport staff. The woman in the blue scarf was seen leaving the restroom and heading toward the departure gates. Blake rushed to the gates, his eyes scanning the crowd. Then he saw her, a tall woman in a blue scarf, sitting calmly at gate 12. Blake approached her. "Excuse me, miss," he said. "I'm Detective Blake. I need to ask you a few questions." The woman looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. "Of course, Detective. What's this about?" Blake noticed her hands trembling slightly. A valuable necklace was stolen from the restroom. "Did you see anything suspicious?" The woman shook her head. "No, I didn't. I've been sitting here for the past hour." Blake's eyes narrowed. "Then why is there a piece of your scarf caught in the restroom sink?" The woman's face turned pale. She tried to stand up, but Blake gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "I think it's best if you come with me," he said. At the security office, the woman confessed. Her name was Clara, and she had been hired by a notorious thief to steal the necklace. She had been waiting for the right moment and had taken advantage of the crowded restroom to snatch the necklace while Mrs. Hart wasn't looking. Blake found the necklace hidden in Clara's handbag. He returned it to Mrs. Hart, who was overjoyed. "Thank you, Detective Blake. You're a true hero," she said. Blake smiled. "Just doing my job, Mom." As he walked back to his gate, Blake couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. Another mystery solved, and his vacation hadn't even started yet. But as he boarded his flight, he noticed a man in a dark coat watching him closely. The man quickly looked away, but Blake's instincts told him something was off. "Looks like this vacation might be more interesting than I thought," Blake muttered to himself, settling into his seat. And so, the adventure continued, even at 30,000 feet in the air.